vat ons. Is jy reg?
Ek is Eddie, ek is reg.
The Bats is Suid-Afrikaanse supergroep wat in 1964 in Johannesburg gestig is.
Ja.
Hulle het in 1966 'n enkelsnit Listen to My Heart vrygestel wat toe 'n groot treffer was daai tyd op Radio London. En die orkes was saamgestel uit Barry Jarman, gitaar, trompet, verskillende instrumente. Jimmy Dunning was daar.
Ja.
Gitaar vervang later deur Pete Clifford op gitaar en sang. Paul Ditchfield.
Ja, hy's
Basgitaar en dan natuurlik klaverborde en sang en trompetspeler Eddie Eckstein.
Ja, ek speel net drums.
Ja, maar jy sing so nou
Jy
en dan.
sing, maar nie trompet nie.
Okay, nie trompet nie. So ek kuier hierso by Eddie Eckstein vandag in jou pragtige huis in Johannesburg.
Dankie man, dankie.
Jy sê nou jy was blessed, nê, maar ek
I am blessed.
You are blessed, maar ek dink jy was ook 'n baie harde werker om te kom tot op hierdie punt,
Ja,
nê.
suppose, jy weet, in hierdie bedryf is nie so lekker nie, so op en af.
Soos die heartbeat, daai grafiek.
Ja.
Eddie Eckstein, born in 1939 and still going strong musician, comedian, film, television and also theatre actor, best known maybe for your performances in the band The Bats,
Yes.
but your career starting in the 1960s and let me just say this, spans 5 to 6 decades already. Het die tyd vir jou gevlieg?
Yes, in a way, I think the last 20 years, maybe even the last 30. You know, when you're younger, the years take a long time to happen. But as jy ouer word, dan skiet hulle verby, jong.
Maar nou so gepraat van oud word, ons moet so klein bietjie teruggaan in tyd, as mense nou gewonder het, waar in die wêreld is Eddie Eckstein? Born in Bezuidenhout Valley and schooled at Marist Brothers College,
Yes.
In the suburb
Observatory.
Observatory,
Yes,
in where was that? Johannesburg.
In Johannesburg, Best Valley, it's east of Joburg, really.
East of Joburg.
Yeah.
So, then after completing matric, you sought employment in Barclays Bank. Ek het dit nooit geweet nie. Jy was eintlik eers in die bank.
Yeah, I was in the bank. 5 years I worked in the bank. But virtually, when I left school, I started playing in bands semi-professionally. So at one stage for about 2.5 years, ek het elke dag in die bank gewerk, not on Sundays, en elke dag een aand het ek gespeel. Op Sondag het ek op Babsfontein gespeel. Sondagaande het ons was at Roadhouse gespeel. The name will come to me just now. You know, I'm old now, so I forget these things. So Sunday night I used to play there, and then Monday to Saturday I played in bands with Elwolocks.
Maar hoe het dit nou gebeur dat jy van die bankwese basies na die vermaaklikheidsbedryf toe gebeur het, of het dit so half gelyktydig gebeur, soos ek nou na jou luister?
Ja, so as I say, ek het elke dag gewerk, het gespeel en in die bank, was ek baie moeg.
Yes.
I wanted to get married, so I said to my fiancée, I said, look, just let me get music out of my system.
Ja.
I go 1 year professional. Turn 1 year professional, then I'll get back and we'll get married and I'll settle down. And the bank called me in, head office. I say, Allah, as jy wil terugkom, is jou job hierso. So moenie worry nie. So I thought, okay. And toe het ek saam met Philippie van Vuren gewerk. En ons het na Rhodesia toe gegaan. Op Bulawayo het ons Victoria Hotel gespeel. En toe ons daar was, gaan ons na hierdie swembad toe elke dag. Het is baie warm daar so. En hierdie ou bring 'n klein portable record player. En hy sê, hier Anna, ons ken hom nie. Hy sê, luister, kom en luister na hierdie groep. And it was the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Yeah. And every day we listened to the Beatles, and we thought, that's what we want to play. So Barry and I were in that band, and we knew Paul Ditchfield. And we said to Flippy said he didn't want to play that music. He said, nee, is nie vir hom nie. So we phoned Paul Ditchfield, who we knew in Johannesburg, en sê, luister, wil jy 'n groep saam met ons maak, jy weet? Om ons liedjies te skryf en speel, jy weet? En hy sê, alright. So toe ons contract klaar was en Bulawayo het ons terug na Johannesburg toe gegaan op what's he played? Chelsea? No. All these things are coming back. And we started rehearsing. And we started writing songs, and Paul had written some songs. And then we approached the record company. We still weren't really a full band. We didn't have a guitarist at the time.
Jene.
En daar was die klein oukie, hy was 14 jaar oud. En hy het saam met ons op Babsantijn opgetree, jy weet. And we asked him to play guitar. He was a very talented youngster. He made international stuff afterwards. En hierdie klein oukie het die gitaars gespeel op hierdie thing. All I Got.
Yes, ja.
Was ons eerste liedjie. En daai liedjie is die enigste een wat ons nommer 1 bereik het.
Op Springbok Radio en ook op LM Radio.
Ja. En jy weet, mense ken dit nie.
Hulle ken dit nie.
Ek ken daai nommer nie.
But ek moet net gou van ons gaan nou terugkom by die band, maar ek moet vir jou sê een van my gunsteling oomblikke seker in die Leon Schuster film waar jy vir Tolla van 'n Merwe so lelike streep getrek het. Dit was met Derrick Watts en ek dink Ruda Landman nog daai tyd as aanbieders van Carte Blanche. En jy gehoor wat toe nou vir jou grappe gelag het in Engels, maar glad nie vir Tolla nie.
Shame, man.
Wat onthou jy van daai dag? Want ek kan nogal dink dit moet moeilik wees om 'n skerp ou soos Tolla van 'n Merwe, jy weet, uit te vang.
You know what happened? It was a real broadcast.
Yes.
We did it
live.
We did it live in the studio on a Sunday.
Jene.
So he thought it was real. and they said vir die verhoor, is dit verhore?
Yes, verhoog.
Jy het gesê,
die gehoor.
Ja, die gehoor. Dus as ek nou praat met hulle lag,
ja.
En vir hom moet hulle niks doen. Yes. En hy sê vir my, Eddie, verstaan hulle nie Afrikaans nie.
Ja.
Miskien moet ek Engels praat. Ek sê, no, they were right. En toe uitvind wat nou happened, is hy wil nou vir Leon klap.
Yes, hoor, jy kan dink.
Hy het hom, wat chase, hy het hom,
Hy het hom gejaag.
Ja, gejaag. Jou
Hy wil hom bykom. Hoorie, so back to the Bats. After hearing the Beatles in Bulawayo, as you said now in Rhodesia, you realized that this new music style was the future of music. And on returning to Johannesburg, you then met Paul Ditchfield and formed the band The Bats in 1964, as I said in the intro. And the group's first single, All I Got, went to number 1 on both Springbok and LM Radio. Wat het gebeur daar met Shabby Little Hut? Was hy ooit nummer 1 gewees?
I don't think it got to number 1. Might have
Really?
on LM. I don't think it got to number 1. It's probably our best known song.
Yes.
And it was a terrible recording. You know what? The record company, we were playing in Durban at the time. And the record company didn't want to bring us back to Joburg, where the good studios were. And we did it in a studio that was only for broadcast, for you know, for
not for singing, but
not
for
singing,
speaking.
yeah, just for speaking, like a radio station, you know. And we had to record there on I think we had 2 tracks in those days, but you had to go play there and then bounce it onto this tape and bounce it back and put a vocal on, bounce it back to get another guitar. So you're losing quality all the
whole time, yeah.
And in fact, we did it twice. These guys came down twice. And the only thing that hurts me about Shabby Hut is the fact that it's a good hit for us. But it would have been a much better recording if we had done it in Johannesburg, jy weet.
Ja, natuurlijk. Die kwaliteit sou beter gewees het. But in the late 70s, Eddie, you would briefly manage a Johannesburg-based all-girl group, Panther.
Yeah, they were called Panther, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the lead singer was PJ Powers.
PJ Powers. We found, we were playing at a club in Durban. And the one night we said, why don't we run a sort of a talent competition in Durban? It was a quiet night. So we said to the management, let's do this and see what happens. And then this all-girl group came there, Panther. And we liked them. And we said to them, well, the manager of the hotel, my cousin, Nico, we were at the Savoy Hotel in Durban. We said, all right, if they come up to Joburg, we'll see if we can do anything with them. So eventually they came up, started rehearsing with us. And then, what's his name, took over from the Delians, the chap from the Delians.
Oh, yeah.
The manager. He eventually took them over and sort of built them up, you know. But I don't think he did much with the girl band, but took made a big star out of Phyllis,
Exactly. Maar hoorie so, ek sal vir jou sê, jy diep spore getrap al so deur die jare.
Ja.
Ek sien in die 1970s
Ja.
het julle 'n SARI toekenning ontvang, The Bats nou,
Ja.
vir liedjie van die jaar with Who's That Girl?
Who's that girl?
Was dit ook 'n groot treffer vir
Was
julle?
also big. You know, a lot of times we had bad luck as far as our music is concerned. Like Fatum Davi was actually called Groen en Goud.
Yes.
And we did that in I can't think now.
Fatum
1968.
Davi.
Yeah. Now that one, the Lions were touring South Africa, and we were in the studio on a Monday, and the Wednesday they were playing the Lions, and we came up with this idea to do this song, and they wouldn't allow us to play it at Ellis Park. They wouldn't.
Why?
Because they weren't professional in those days. It was amateur. So they stopped us, and they stopped any of the rugby players, Frick de Preer, Tiny Nordeer, and Davy de Villiers. They stopped us from ever approaching them to, have an interview or talk to them about it. Now that got to almost to number one. And I've got almost a gold record. No, I might have got to number one, I'm not sure. But it could have been a gold record. And then that's what happened there. Who's the Girl? The same thing. They ran out of CDs.
Can you believe it?
As we were getting, like we were at number 8, number 5, number 3. Now we know we're going to go to 1. And they ran out of CDs or something. I don't know.
Dit was ander daai want vandag stream jy net op iTunes en
Ja,
daar
yes,
klim jy die
ja,
charts en
ja.
af. Daar's nie meer die physical produk soos in daai jare nie. Maar die Bats het toe op 'n stadium opgebreek en ek dink amper as ek reg onthou julle het in 2000 toe hervorm. You got
sir.
back together.
Ja.
Barry Jarman genader, maar hy het gesê been there done that. Hy het geweier om terug te kom, is dit waar?
Ja. You see, ons het klaargemaak in 1980. And in 20 years, we say we had a sabbatical of 20 sabbatical for 20 years. And then ons het begin om te oefen, om weer te speel. And he came to a couple of rehearsals, but 2 years before he had a stroke. And he came to about 3 or 4 rehearsals. And he said, now I've worn the T-shirt.
Oh yes,
I've worn the T-shirt. I've been there, I've done that. Sorry?
But well, that makes sense. But he passed away now. In the meantime.
Then 2 years later, he passed away anyway with another stroke.
Sure.
So yeah, it was very, very sad.
Bless his soul. Maar Derek Gordon het toe Barry se plek in die reeks of in die band ingeneem. En hy dien steeds in die groep, alhoewel die Bats nou nie in die vorm van hoë entertainers meer is nie, ek glo dit glad nie, gaan julle voort om gehore te wel met julle 1960s en 70s musiek, en julle musiek en ook die komedie aanbiedings wat julle eintlik so doen, saam met die musiek is steeds daai gepoleerde vertonings geskik selfs vir Pieter Toerien se teater by Monte Casino, en nou gaan julle ook weer terug wees by die Atterbury Theater, back with that old bad magic. So vertel my bietjie van hierdie vertoning wat julle eersdaags, ek dink die 29ste Julie aanbied by die Atterbury.
You know, our show it's a variety show within itself. Each member of the band, it's not a singer and any orchestra. Each member of the band can do something out front. Each guy can be
the front man.
A front man. And that's how the band works. So we do band numbers, obviously, the Shabby Hut and Fatum Davi and whatever, number that ours, and then other pop stuff, obviously, from that era.
Yeah.
And each guy then can, like Derek, one of Derek's big numbers is Cry to Me, which brings the house down every time.
The staccatos.
Yeah, and then he does another number, Nance is die Beste. Nance is die Boss. And that's his comedy number. Now, that's a guy that does great ballad and he does a comedy song.
A comedy song as well.
And Paul does, obviously, piano stuff and vocals as well.
En wat doen jy?
Ek klap die drummer en ek maak grappies. Yeah. Yes. So I tell the jokes and sometimes I sing a serious song. Depends on the show, you know. We tend, through the years, we've changed the shows. Like especially we know we're going back to a place and we say, okay, we'll put in Oh God, It's Beautiful, which Paul wrote, and his song was chosen to represent South Africa at the Tokyo World Songs Festival in 1972.
What?
And he wanted somebody to sing the song, and I'd been singing it, as part of the band. And eventually took me, and we went to Tokyo, 1972. Budokan Hall was about 8,000 seater. Worldwide TV.
Yes, Eddie.
Senuweeagtig, meneer, you don't know.
Hoeveel duisende of miljoene mense het toe daai broadcast gesien, dink jy?
It was no millions.
Millions of people.
Millions of people. Yes. And I mean, I remember I was so nervous that I got phlegm. What is it?
Ja.
And I couldn't almost not speak.
Seker 'n bietjie soeibrand ook.
Yeah. No, just
Slijm.
Yeah. And funny enough, there was an American that stood we all queued up one after the other artists. And this American spoke about 8 languages, a guy. And he had a bottle of whiskey.
Heita.
There's a woman in front of me, I promise you, she could not speak.
Really?
She was in front of me from Australia. She could not speak.
Ook van die nerves.
And he said, vat 'n happie.
Het jy toe ook 'n happie gevat?
Ja, seker.
Hey, hoor hierso.
I wish it was brandewyn.
Toe gaan lê die nerves. Nee, nou
I
sy
want to tell you,
aggressief
this woman,
geraak.
the music started and she sang like a bird. Unbelievable.
Wow. Sure.
And I mean, you're singing with a 40-piece orchestra. Only time in my life.
Yes.
And I think there were 8 females and 8 male singers, all Japanese, eh?
Kan jy dit glo?
I mean, that's what you perform.
So ek sit hierso met 'n world famous persoon wat al voor internasionaal wat voor miljoene mense al natuurlik op televisie gesing het.
Ook in Pretoria.
Pretoria. Hoorie so Eddie Eckstein, Paul Ditchfield, Pete Clifford and Derek Gordon, they are all still roadworthy. En gereed vir die vertoning daarso by die Atterbury 7:00 die aand, 'n $250 'n ticket en jy sien hierdie legends. Hoe werk dit met julle rehearsals? Kom julle nog almal bymekaar of wing julle dit op die aand?
No, don't wing we don't wing anything in the band. First of all, you got the time to remember at our age.
Yeah.
Derek stays in Jeffreys Bay. And he's coming up on Monday.
Okay.
So now Paul and Pete, we started this week. And we started on Monday. And basically almost got through everything without mistakes. The song. Some songs are a little more difficult than others, so you have to keep running. And then we had another one today. And then we'll start again when Derek comes up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, probably Thursday, and then we do Friday. But Derek oefens at home.
Yes.
He knows the songs and he goes over them,
En dan kom julle bymekaar en julle gel.
Ja.
Toe ek nou hier deur jou huis geloop het, toe sien ek jy het ook so half 'n vertrek daarso met die drumstel en alles. So jy oefen seker ook op jou eie.
Yeah, no, I have to. I have to. I mean, before we started in May, you must remember we hadn't played since November 2019 because of COVID.
Because of COVID, yeah.
And I practiced for about 2 months, just about every day, 2 hours, hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours a day. And because my left hand has always been very lazy. And I could even tell now, I've only been doing a couple of hours a week since then. And I should have been doing more. But I'm trying to do like 2 hours a day now. I can do the numbers.
Yes, yeah.
But a couple of things I have to do a bit of like a drum solo.
A solo en so, ja.
And I'm not a good drum soloist, Ek gooi milies.
Ja. Mense gaan nie eers agterkom, jy gaan so 'n grappie vertel terwyl jy die drommetjie bykom. But Eddie, tell me, raak dit moeiliker of dink jy dit raak makliker deur die jare om op die verhoog te wees? Of want dit lyk vir my asof jy nog steeds dieselfde dissipline het as wat jy gehad het toe jy begin het met the Bats.
Yeah, look, I mean, people that know us from years ago say we're better than we were.
Oh, I believe that.
And we've got to believe that. But nothing is left for chance. You rehearse everything. Things happen, comedy-wise, that you don't prepare.
You can improv.
Yeah, that just happens on the thing.
In the
and
moment.
A lot of songs have developed. Like we do a song called Cricket, and there's a whole thing before we sing the song because the song is very, just cricket. Yeah, cricket. But what happened, how it developed into that, that's what happens. But that's when you're doing, like when we first started again, when you're doing lots of shows, and you right into that show. I mean, everything is just...
Smooth.
It's just smooth. You just know, anything happens, you know what to do, But jy moet oefen. You can't, jy moet nie 'n kans vat nie. The nerves are there sometimes,
But it's good.
Look, I don't get as many nerves with the band as I do if I do a solo thing. Because solo,
You're on your own.
You can't go anywhere. There's no place to hide.
Nee, dis waar. Nee, ek voel daai elke dag
Ja.
as ek alleen op die radio is.
Ja.
Hoor hierso Eddie, dit was nou heerlik om met jou te gesels.
Dankie, Frans.
Ek wens ons het langer tyd gehad, net 'n laaste ding of so.
Ja.
Hoe lank gaan julle nog aangaan of hoe lank sal jy nog aanhou tot die dag wat jy omkap of is daar 'n timeline wat jy vir jouself gesê het om te sê okay, tot op hierdie ouderdom en dan gaan ek uittreë of so of want daar's mos 'n gesegde wat sê ek hou te veel van optree, so ek wil nie aftree nie. Beplan jy om ooit af te
Ja.
tree?
You know, how do you know? I mean, when we stopped in 1980, you
Exactly.
think, you know, maybe it's a solo career, and then in the year 2000, Pete was staying in Barberton, and they had a restaurant in Barberton, him and his wife, and I've been there a couple of times to do a bit of cabaret for him there, and and she also had shares in a steakhouse in Nelspruit, and they said, well, how did you get the bats together?
Ja.
And that's how it started. So we said, well, listen, Pete has to come through to rehearse with Barry. And then what happened was we knew Derek.
Oh.
And we said, Derek, you got a sound. You got the PA system. Would you come and do our sound?
You need that guy.
We need would you come and do our sound? So I said, great. We said, we'll share with you exactly what we're earning. And then after Barry said that he's... I phoned him. I said, Derek, you know what? Are you in the band now? What? Yeah, so that's how that started. Yeah.
Yes, see Eddie.
Yeah, but no, you often. So that started, we did that show, and then a school in Joburg found out we'd done one, and then about a month later, another one.
A ripple effect.
Yeah, and then we heard through the grapevine that the Baxter Theatre in Cape Town were allowing people to hire the theatre. You could get 90%.
Of the ticket
No,
sales?
it was 80%.
Of the ticket sales?
80% of
That's
the
a goeie
ticket
deal.
sales. And you could have it. So we thought, what the heck? We phoned a chick that does advertising. She's going to cost you $2,000 to do advertising. We said, okay, guys, we put $500 in.
Daar gaat ons. At least you're a band. You all can give like 500. You can split the bill.
Yeah.
That helps.
So we did that. And we got there. And, we played in Cape Town quite a lot at the Rotunda Hotel. We used to do Sunday nights, average 540, 550 a night on a Sunday night. The highest we ever had was 800 people.
It's more than the theatre.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So we sit there and we start open up and the crowd's going wild. And we sort of, at the intro, we say, okay, stand up. All those that have seen the bats at the Rotunda, that whole theatre stands up.
What?
Can you believe it? Lot.
Yes.
They all stand up. And you just get goosebumps.
You get goosebumps.
And people come up to you and say, one guy came that same night. He says, he signed autographs after. Eddie, he says, yeah, you guys, you're my life. You're my life. I said, what are you talking about? He says, I went on a Friday night, you guys are playing there. I didn't have a partner. And I was sitting there. And I was dancing. I saw a chick sitting on the other side there, alone. So I went to ask her for a dance. And he says, yes, she's my wife.
What?
He says, that's what you mean,
Yes.
So we had lots
You're my
of
life.
that. Yeah. That's what we meant to them, And het net gegroeid. And after that, we did a big show here at the casino at the airport.
Emperors.
Another big Emperors. Big one there. And then it just took off.
Julle is nog rockstars. Lyk my nie daar was nie die drugs en rock and roll gewees noodwendig nie. Julle het nou na julleself
gekyk. Look, we were probably a very fortunate band that we didn't get into that stuff,
Veral met daai tipe sukses wat julle bereik het in daai spesifieke jare. En dis my voorreg om langs jou te sit. Dankie dat jy so
dat jy kom kuier het van die Pretoria af.
Ja, ek kom kuier sommer weer vir jou binnekort.
Ek is in die Bosveld hierso.
Dis 'n pragtige plek wat jy het en na al die jare nog steeds so ongelooflik nederig. Eddie, jy's 'n lewende legende.
Baie dankie Frans.
En ek hoop ons sien en hoor nog baie van jou en ons sien uit na daai show by die Atterbury Theatre.
Asseblief tog. Ja, kom kuier mense. Luister, my Afrikaans is nie te goed nie, maar ek probeer.
Hy die komedie.
En julle sal lekker lag, lekker musiek. We're the 60s kind of band, but we do songs that you'll enjoy, and like musical items as well that might might excite you even, eh? Whoa!
Jou Afrikaans is beter as my Engels,
Nah,
dit kan ek jou beloof.
Rubbish praat. Genade.
Eddie, jou legend. Daar in jou shabby little hut.
Ja, okay.
Verstaan jy, dat
Ja.
dit so asof die persoon luister in die hut of
Maar
in die
dis
kar.
kan ek iets doen. Ek wil CD's uitgee vir die mense.
Oh, you
wag.
can give it to me, ja.
Kom, wag.
I can just make an...
Sê hulle moet wag.
Wag, ons is nou terug. Okay,
Hierdie
ons het
twee-
gewag. Wat gaan hier aan, Eddie?
Hierdie twee is
Yes.
for the radio station.
Yes.
So you got our stuff, all right.
Check nou
And
hier.
these here, we got 4 of these you can give away.
Are you serious?
Ja.
Eddie, maar vertel my net gou, wat is hierdie All for One, the Bats? Which year did you release this one?
This was probably about 8 years ago.
Are you serious?
Maybe more, yeah. And even in fact, it actually tells you some of the things and who's singing the songs. Like Pete does cocaine here,
Oh, I see.
and Derek does.
Well, he's not doing cocaine. He's just performing.
No, he's just performing it. Please, and then yeah, see, Derek says, "Nice, is the best."
Daai is die
He also
lekker een.
did Unchained Melody on this. I don't know if he did Cry to Me on this one. Oh God, It's Beautiful is the thing that I did in Tokyo with it. That's the orchestra in Japan that I'm singing with.
Are you
I'm
serious?
serious.
Jo, so hierdie is baie eksklusief.
Yeah. So they're very nice songs on there. Nice is the best is on here. 3 to Tango, 1 Paul on piano. Going Home, very nice guitar solo with Pete Clifford. And he does, funny, the other songs he does is, they're different things on different albums, you know. Anyway,
So
let's
let's give 3 away because
You
we
can
also
keep one
need
for the theatre, yeah, sure.
So what are we going to ask the listeners? Hulle moet 'n vraagie antwoord oor jou en dan moet hulle dit vir my stuur, dan kan hulle wen.
Ja.
So hulle moet die regte antwoord
Hoe
nou
oud
gee.
is Eddie Eckstein?
How old is Eddie Eckstein?
Hoe oud is ek?
Hy's nog jonk van gees, maar ons praat van die actual ouderdom.
Ja.
Van sy ID. Ek het dit nou weggegee in die intro, né?
Ja, jy het dit.
1939 gebore.
Dis dit.
So, hoe oud is hy? As jy eerste reg raai, dan kan jy 'n CD wen.
Ja, that's
Ja.
wat ek.
En onthou om jou kaartjies te kry vir die Bats by die Atterbury Theater. Daar's 'n Eddie, jy's 'n absolute legend. Dankie vir die
Dankie,
CD's.
man.
En ons kom kuier gou weer.
Listen, we enjoy these interviews and we need it. We need the help. You know, years ago, people used to say, why do you need to all the publicity and that? You say, well, why do you think Coca-Cola advertises all the time?
Still, I mean, and
Ja.
they're the biggest.
I said, because you can only survive
Ja.
by having that out front all the
If you have it, flaunt it.
Hey?
If you have it, flaunt it.
That's what I got, and I can't flaunt anymore. I'm too old. I am Eddie Eckstein from the Bats. You are listening to Francois on the Lunch Punch from the shabby little hut.
Okay, perfect.